Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Today, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you happy? Have you taken the time to think about what would happiness look like to you? I mean, what would you envision as being true happiness for you? It may not look like what we've been led to believe happiness should be, could be, would be. But when we think about what is it in our life that we desire that we feel would bring more happiness, more fulfillment, more joy, is it where you live? Is it the job you do? Is it the people you're around? What is it that's holding you back from being able to create your happiest life? What are the obstacles that are standing in your way or your perceived obstacles? And if you identify those, what changes can you make to start pursuing the things that really matter to you? What's in the way of that? Is it your belief systems? Is it something that, like, do you feel trapped in a situation like I don't have other choices because of obligations to others, demands on your schedule, or just a lack of knowledge? Because all of those things are changeable. A lot of times we'll look at a situation and think, well, I just can't because of fill in the blank. Well, when you fill in the blank, whatever that is for you, if it's demands on your schedule, what can you free up? What's a priority? And I think that's where we get lost because we prioritize things that aren't really our priority. And in doing that, we push away what matters to us. And it's not that we're doing it from a place it's a good intention, but at the end of the day, it can cause a lot of resentment. It can cause a lot of regret. And again, regret is just a lesson learned. Until we keep doing it and we haven't learned the lesson, we keep pushing off what's important to us, trying to do for others. And the same with having too many demands on your schedule. Whose demands are they? Are they your responsibilities? Yours? For real, yours? Like you have to handle it because it's your business? Or are there too many demands on your schedule because you're trying to do too much for too many people and not doing for you? If that's what's holding you back from your happiness, then you have to decide, is my happiness more important? Am I going to continue to delay my happiness trying to take care of everything else? And if so, then you can't be mad about it. If you really, truly prioritize the things that make you happy, then you're going to have to set better boundaries if that's the issue. Sometimes it's just a matter of feeling trapped in a situation because we don't see options or opportunities for changing it. And that's usually because we're looking at we're taking a short view of it. Like in this moment, I don't have what I need. Okay, so what do you need? What do you need and how can you get that? How can you make that happen? Because if we are so caught up in the day to day that we don't take the time to stop, sit back, and reflect, the choices that we've made that have put us in the position where we now feel trapped, like we don't have time, we don't have options, we don't have opportunities, will stay there because we're not looking. We're not opening our minds. We're not taking just a moment to pause and think, what else is possible? So, are you happy? If not, where are you bleeding your time? Where are you bleeding your resources? Are those things giving back to you? Or are they just continuing to bleed off into nowhere? Is it taking you where you want to go? Or is it just holding you back by continuing these commitments, these obligations, trying to fulfill all these other things? If they're not your priority, if they're not your responsibility, at some point you've got to let go of that to pursue you and what matters to you. Because at the end of the day, any one of those things that you're pouring into could just go. It could be your job, it could be a relationship, whatever it is. it- Nothing is definite, nothing is set in stone even if it's contractual, uh, you can't rely on that. So if you continue to pour into something outside of you and give your time, energy, resources, everything you have into this thing, and all of a sudden it's not there anymore, now what? You've got you've been emptying yourself into this and now it's not there. So everything that you had was in this. If it's gone, you have nothing to show for it. And that's why it's important to really look at boundaries and setting priorities and even learning to say, that sounds like a you problem more often than we tend to. We want to do the right thing. We want to support the people around us. But at the same time, if you're doing it at the detriment of your well being, your future, your emotional, mental, physical wellness, at some point, you have to stop. Stop and look at, I need to do for me. I need to take a break from doing for everyone else and take some time for me. What matters to me? What is important to me? Invest in myself and create something for me that I know will be there. Stability. Even when you have a dream that you want so badly to pursue, and you keep saying, when the kids finish school, when I get that promotion, after this is taken care of, once I get the roof replaced, whatever it is, we all have that, I'll do it when. And when that happens and you get the roof replaced, and they're like, well, I didn't realize that little Jimmy was going to need to do soccer this year, and I really don't have the time now. That will keep happening until you just decide that I have to prioritize this. This matters to me. So, are you happy? For real? Or are you just going through the motions? Or are you showing up for obligations? Is it fulfilling? Is it giving back to you? Is what you're pouring yourself into pouring back into you? If that's the case and you are happy, then that's great. But if you're pouring out and it's not coming back, or you're pouring out and you just keep having to pour more and more and more, and you find that more of your life over here is left waiting until this happens, until that happens. Sometimes you just have to say that's enough and take care of priorities. Like, if y'all been watching for a few, we've had a lot going on, right? Well, Cricket had torn both of the ligaments in both of her knees. And last year we had one of them fixed. And then life got crazy. And we were like, we can't take on another knee surgery right now because it's like 8 weeks. They have to walk with a belly band. You have to be with them for the first 2 weeks, 24/7. She's behind me sleeping right now. She just came home yesterday. And it's a major surgery for a dog. So, with as much as we have going on, and as trying as it's probably going to be over the next few weeks, I thought, you know what? I am not putting this off. This is a priority. Her wellness and being able to be fully functional again is a priority. And if I say, well, we'll wait until, how about, well, what if then the money's not there because the roof needed replaced or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're going to do it right now because that is truly a priority for me. Is it going to be the easiest thing? No, it's not. But you know what? It's this period of time, and seeing her happy and fully functional and healthy again, that is a priority for me. That makes me happy. And so that's something I did not want to put off. Is it turning more things upside down? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But you know what? That's where we have to decide what is a priority. And for the next couple weeks, some other things are going to have to slide because I'm not going to kill myself trying to do everything. And that's where we have to learn to draw those lines, those boundaries. Like, my plate is full, my cup is not. I cannot be giving, giving, giving all the time without something pouring back into me. And I'm not going to sacrifice my priorities because other people can't handle theirs or won't handle theirs. Because you'll find a lot of times it's just a matter of not wanting to deal with it. Well, all that does is create bigger and bigger and bigger problems. And there has to come a point where if you don't want to deal with the problem, don't ask me for help. That's a you problem. And this is just a reminder because we do get caught up in wanting to help, wanting to ease other people's struggle. But when it becomes so much of a struggle for you that you're unable to pursue what matters to you, or it's affecting your stability, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, if you don't prioritize your health and your well being, happiness will always feel out of reach because those are basic things that we need to have to function, to be solid in. So think about what what life do you envision when you think of being happy? What situation? What are you doing for a living? What's around you? Where do you live? What does your home look like? Who are the people you spend time with? What do you do for leisure? Because I bet in a happy life you have time for leisure, right? Is that the only thing that keeps you from feeling happy where you're at now? Is not having free time for you? Look at those things because that's the starting point. That's where you need to start to identify what do I need to change? Where do I need to say no more? Or this is not really important to me, or this is not my problem. And prioritize what is important to you because you have to have time and space to live your life, not just living through another or living for another, but for you. Just a reminder, because again, this is something that we're all being encouraged to do right now is look at who am I? What am I? Am I happy? What could I change? We're in a time of great change just on, on a global scale. What about your world? What in your world needs to change? It could be a small change. It could be a huge change. Everyone's situation is going to be different, but it's something that if you look at it now and ask yourself, what what is happiness to me? To some people, it's having an executive job and really, racing around and all that kind of stuff. That for them is happiness. For some, it's living in the woods, living off the grid, growing your own food, and never talking to another human being again. We each have our own version, and whatever your version of happiness is, what's what's something you can do to create space, to create resources, to start making that happen? Just one. And after that one, what's some more things? When you start making little tweaks and start to see progress towards your goal, that motivates you even more. It gives you even more of a commitment to yourself to continue that path. It's when you say, I'll do it someday that you don't. You just don't. That someday is never going to come. That right opportunity, that perfect moment. If you wait for that, you're just not doing it. If you commit to it now and you decide, I'm going to do one thing, what's the one thing? Say it's you want to move, you want to buy a house, something that requires money. Okay, so I'm going to take X amount of dollars out of every paycheck and put in a separate account and name that account. Now you can nickname your account and name that account whatever the goal is. Every chance you get, put money back in there. And when you start to see that grow, you start to see hope. You start to see possibility. And all of a sudden, you're very motivated to do thing two and thing three. And when something or someone comes along that wants to eat up your resources that you've put aside for you, the ability to say, fuck off, is going to come much easier because you know how you have sacrificed, you have worked, you have taken your things and reorganized them to make space for what was important to you. And you're not going to just give that away. You're not going to just say, oh, well, okay, pay me back when you can. Oh, hell no. I went without and I sacrificed to pull these resources aside for the thing that I am trying to build for me. No, not yours, mine. And again, it's once we put effort into it, that level of commitment increases. And that's true of anything. So make that commitment to you, to your happiness. You totally deserve it. Quit building everybody else. Start building you. Because at the end of the day, everybody else might not be there. They're not obligated to. You're not obligated either. Be true to yourself first. And pardon Cricket's snoring. She's worse than usual because now she's on pain pills and everything else. But she's recovering nicely and she loves to be in here. So, anyway, are you happy? Promise yourself, commit to yourself today. You're going to do one thing to start freeing up the resources to pursue what will make you happy, to commit to your happiness first. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon.